You gave your heart, you gave your time, you put in the kind of love, the kind of loyalty that few ever find. And they took that, didn't they? They held it in their hands and they walked away like it meant nothing. But hear me now, they will regret losing you. When you care for someone deeply, you give pieces of yourself that you can't get back. You sacrifice. You believe in them. You support their dreams as if they were your own. And somewhere along the way, they got used to that love. They thought it would always be there, waiting on them, waiting for them to decide if they would finally stay. But you're not a backup plan. You're not an option. You're not someone's second choice. Let me tell you this. You are worth a love that's certain, not convenient. You are worth a love that fights for you every single day. We don't waste another breath on people who couldn't see the miracle that was standing right in front of them. Because trust me, they will come back and they will try. They'll say they were wrong. They'll say they didn't know what they had until it was gone. And maybe they'll mean it, maybe they won't. But it's not your job to fix their regret. See, you're rising up. You're finding new strength. You're realizing your worth, and that's the most powerful thing they're ever going to see. And don't fall back into old patterns. Don't open a door that God closed for a reason. Sometimes people come into our lives to teach us that we deserve better. You are worth a love that's certain, not convenient. Think about that. So many people go through life settling for what's comfortable or what's close, even if it doesn't make them feel truly loved. And let me tell you something, that kind of love will drain you, break you, and leave you feeling like you're not enough. But you deserve so much more than that. When you care deeply, when you give yourself fully, it's because you believe that the other person sees you the same way you see them. You give your time, your energy, your heart, believing that it's mutual, that it's real. But some people don't value what they're given. They treat you as an option, someone to keep around until something better or easier comes along. There is nothing worse than feeling like a second choice. When you pour so much of yourself into someone, you want them to see you as their first, they're only their priority. You shouldn't have to compete for someone's affection or wait for them to decide if they truly want to be with you. When someone truly values you, you know it because they don't make you question it. They don't keep you guessing, wondering where you stand. They won't leave you hanging, making you feel like you're something they can put on a shelf and take down when it suits them. Real love doesn't look like that. It doesn't feel like that. Love that's meant for you will be consistent, not convenient. It's easy for people to say they care about you when it's easy, when there are no obstacles or challenges. But what happens when things get tough? When life throws curveballs or when sacrifices need to be made? That's when you'll see who's willing to stay and who's looking for the exit. That's when you'll know if they're in it for real, or just when it's convenient. People who are only there for the good times, who leave at the first sign of difficulty, don't deserve you. They don't deserve the beauty, strength, and loyalty that you bring into a relationship. Love that's real is not just about feeling good or having fun. It's about commitment. It's about being there even when things aren't perfect. You deserve someone who sees your value every single day, not just when they're lonely or need something. You deserve someone who sees you as the prize you are, someone who wants to fight for you, who sees you as their first and only choice. Don't let anyone convince you that you have to settle for being someone's backup plan or temporary fix. I don't let anyone convince you that they're doing you a favor by being with you. Your worth is not measured by whether or not someone chooses you. It's measured by the love, patience, and compassion you give, and you deserve to have that returned to you in full. Some people will try to convince you that good enough is enough, that you don't need someone who's fully committed, that having part of someone is better than having no one at all. But remember, this halfway love is not love at all. Love is not meant to be something that leaves you feeling empty or less than. Love, when it's real, should lift you up, should make you feel like you can conquer the world. When someone truly loves you, they make you feel like you're their world, not something to pass the time. If someone doesn't see your value, if they're not willing to give you the love, the respect, and the commitment that you deserve, then they're not worthy of you. You are worth someone who sees you as their priority, who would never risk losing you because they know how rare, how precious, how incredible it is to have someone like you in their life. You're worth more than someone who's only around when it's convenient, when it's easy, or when it suits them. Real love doesn't walk away, it doesn't give up, and it doesn't leave you wondering if you're enough. Real love stays, it commits, it sees you and values you through the highs and the lows. Don't settle for anything less than a love that's as strong, as constant, and as certain as the love you give. Don't waste time on those who couldn't see your true value. There's nothing more heartbreaking than giving everything you have to someone, your time, your energy, your love in realizing they didn't truly see you. They didn't appreciate you for who you were. They didn't cherish the light you brought into their life. But here's the thing, if they couldn't recognize your worth, that's not a reflection of you. It's a reflection of them. Sometimes people are so caught up in their own world, their own needs, that they fail to appreciate the people right in front of them. And it's easy to take that personally, to start questioning yourself, wondering if you weren't good enough. But let me tell you this, never waste another moment doubting your value because of someone who couldn't see it. When you know who you are, when you know what you bring to the table, you realize that not everyone deserves to have a seat with you. Not everyone deserves to share in the gifts you bring, in the light you spread, in the loyalty and love you give. Some people will take your kindness for granted. They'll accept your generosity, your understanding, your patience, and they'll just assume that it'll always be there waiting for them whenever they choose to come back. But love isn't a one-way street, and respect is a two-way road. You're not here to pour yourself into others without ever getting anything back. You deserve someone who sees your worth without having to be reminded, who values you without conditions. One of the hardest lessons to learn in life is that not everyone is capable of appreciating your true value. Some people only realize what they had once it's gone, once they've lost the one person who was willing to go to the ends of the earth for them. But by then it's too late. By then you've already moved on, you've already grown stronger, you've already realized that you deserve better. And that's when regret hits them. They remember the moments when you stood by them, when you supported them, when you gave them a love that was rare, that was genuine. They realize that they lost something special. But you can't let their realization become your burden. You can't let their regret pull you back into a place you've outgrown. You see, wasting time on those who don't see your worth holds you back from the people who will. It keeps you stuck in a place of doubt, of second guessing, wondering if you'll ever find someone who truly values you. But the truth is, there are people out there who will see you, who will appreciate you, who will love you for exactly who you are. They won't need convincing. They won't need time to figure it out. They won't leave you questioning your own worth. They'll show up and they'll stay because they recognize the treasure that you are. People who don't see your value will only drain you. They'll leave you feeling empty, depleted, as if you have to constantly prove yourself, constantly show them why you're worth their time, their attention, their love. But that's not your job. You are not here to beg for anyone's love, to prove to anyone that you're worthy. When you truly value yourself, you realize that the people who don't see your worth are the ones who are missing out. They're the ones who are losing something precious, something rare, something irreplaceable. Imagine all the time you've spent worrying about people who couldn't appreciate you, couldn't value you, couldn't see you for who you are. That time, that energy could have been used to focus on yourself, to pursue your own dreams, to build a life that's rich and fulfilling. Imagine where you'd be now if you hadn't wasted that time, if you had put yourself first. But don't let regret cloud your heart. Every experience, every heartbreak, every person who couldn't see your worth has taught you something, has made you stronger, has brought you closer to understanding what you truly deserve. So from this point forward, make a promise to yourself. Promise that you won't waste another second of your life on people who don't see your value. Promise that you'll focus on yourself, on building a life that makes you happy, on surrounding yourself with people who lift you up, who celebrate you, appreciate you for exactly who you are. There's a whole world out there waiting to recognize your worth. There are people out there who will see your light and want to add to it, who will see your strength and be inspired by it, who will see your kindness and cherish it. Remember, your time is precious, your energy is valuable, and your heart is a treasure. I don't waste it on those who can't see it. Don't spend it on those who don't appreciate it. Don't give it to those who take it for granted. Rising up means realizing and embracing your own worth. It means understanding at a deep and unwavering level that you have a value that isn't defined by anyone else's approval or validation. Too often we look outside ourselves searching for signs that we're enough, that we're worthy of love, respect, and success. We wait for someone to tell us we're good enough, that we're doing okay, that we're valuable. But there comes a point in life where we have to realize that no one else's opinion of us matters as much as our own. Rising up isn't about arrogance, it's about self-respect. It's about standing tall in who you are and refusing to let anyone make you feel small. There are times when people will doubt you. They'll question your choices, your dreams, your abilities. They might even try to make you feel like you're asking for too much, reaching too high, wanting things that you don't deserve. But deep down, you know what you're capable of. You know the kind of strength you have, the resilience that's brought you through every storm. Embracing your own worth means you stop waiting for the world to recognize what you already know. That you are enough, that you are capable, that you have something unique to offer. It means you stop settling for less than you deserve because you finally understand that you are worthy of the best life has to offer. Realizing your worth isn't something that happens overnight. It takes time, it takes experiences, some of them painful, to reveal just how valuable you truly are. Often it's through hardship that we discover our own strength. It's in the moments when people walk away, when things don't go our way, when we feel like we're at rock bottom, that we find out just how resilient we are. Rising up is about using those moments as fuel to propel you forward. It's about recognizing that every challenge, every step, every time someone underestimated you was an opportunity for growth. It was a chance to learn, to build, to become stronger, wiser, and more certain of who you are. Embracing your own worth also means letting go of the things and people that don't serve you. It means walking away from relationships, jobs, and environments that make you feel small, that drain you, that keep you from being the best version of yourself. It's not easy to let go, especially when we're so used to trying to make things work, to being the ones who hold everything together. But rising up means you prioritize yourself, your well-being, and your happiness. It means you stop compromising who you are just to keep others comfortable. When you realize your worth, you start setting boundaries. You stop allowing people to treat you any way they please. You stop saying yes to things that don't align with your goals and your values. People might not like it at first. They might not understand why you've changed, why you're no longer bending over backward to accommodate their needs. But standing up for yourself, creating boundaries, and protecting your energy are acts of self-respect. They are a declaration to the world that you know your value, that you won't settle for less than you deserve. Rising up is also about seeing the potential in yourself that others may not see. It's about daring to dream bigger, to set goals that may seem out of reach to those around you. Often, people are limited by their own fears, their own insecurities, and they try to project those limitations onto you. But when you understand your worth, you realize that your potential is limitless. You begin to believe that you can achieve things that others may have doubted. You stop letting other people's doubts define what you can and can't do. You start to see that your possibilities are only limited by the boundaries you set for yourself. Realizing and embracing your worth also means celebrating yourself, your achievements, and your journey. So often we downplay our accomplishments, shrug them off as if they're no big deal. But every step you've taken, every obstacle you've overcome, every little victory along the way matters. Rising up means giving yourself credit where it's due. It means acknowledging the hard work you've put in, the sacrifices you've made, and the strength it took to get where you are today. You don't need anyone else to applaud you. You can be your own biggest cheerleader. Recognize that you're worthy of praise, that you're deserving of pride, that you've earned the right to celebrate how far you've come. Embracing your worth means giving yourself permission to be happy, to pursue joy, to live a life that's fulfilling. Sometimes we hold ourselves back because we feel like we have to prove ourselves to others, to earn their approval, to meet their expectations. But life is too short to live according to someone else's standards. When you rise up and embrace your worth, you give yourself the freedom to live a life that feels true to you. You start prioritizing what makes you happy, what makes you feel alive, what makes you feel at peace. Rising up isn't about being perfect. It's about being real. It's about accepting yourself, flaws and all, and realizing that you are worthy just as you are. You don't have to be anything other than yourself to be valuable, to be deserving, to be loved. Embrace your worth, lie boldly, and never apologize for recognizing the value of the person you've become. Closed doors are often blessings in disguise. In life, we sometimes face rejection, setbacks, and missed opportunities that can feel like the end of the world. When you're pouring your heart and soul into something, a relationship, a job, a dream, and it doesn't work out, it's easy to feel defeated. You may wonder why things didn't go as planned, why the door closed, or why you weren't given the chance you thought you deserved. But there's a truth that life often teaches us. Sometimes the things we desperately want are not meant for us. Sometimes the closed doors are there to protect us, to guide us, and to help us find the path we're truly meant to be on. When a door closes, it's natural to feel frustrated, to question yourself, and to even feel anger or resentment. You might think, if only that door had stayed open, my life would be different. But what we often don't realize is that those closed doors are redirecting us to something better, something that's more aligned with who we are or who we're meant to become. Life has a way of placing roadblocks in our path to force us to slow down, to reassess, and to gain clarity about what we truly want. Those closed doors push us to look inward, to grow, to develop resilience, and to learn lessons that we wouldn't have learned if things had gone smoothly. Think about the times when you felt devastated by a rejection, only to look back later and realize it was the best thing that ever happened to you. Maybe it was a job that didn't work out, a relationship that fell apart, or an opportunity that slipped through your fingers. At the moment, it may have felt like you lost everything, but later, with the benefit of hindsight, you could see that the closed door saved you from something that wasn't meant for you. Or maybe it opened your eyes to a part of yourself you hadn't yet discovered, a strength you didn't know you had, or a new direction you hadn't considered. These closed doors are life's way of leading you to a different, often better path. Closed doors teach us to let go of control and trust the process. We often think we know what's best for ourselves, that we can plan out every step and control the outcome. But life has a funny way of reminding us that we're not always in control. And sometimes that's a blessing. When a door closes, it's a reminder that there's a bigger picture, a broader plan that we may not understand in the moment. It's a call to surrender, to trust that life knows what it's doing, and to have faith that things are unfolding as they should. This doesn't mean we stop putting in effort or that we become passive, but it does mean that we learn to accept when certain things aren't working out. It means learning to be at peace with the fact that not everything will go according to our plan. When you're faced with a closed door, it can also be a wake-up call to reassess your priorities. Sometimes we get so fixated on one goal or one person that we lose sight of the bigger picture. We may be clinging to something that isn't truly fulfilling or something that doesn't align with who we are. When that door closes, it gives us a moment to pause, to reflect, and to ask ourselves if we were really happy, if that path was really in line with our values and goals. Closed doors force us to check in with ourselves and ensure that we're pursuing things that genuinely bring us joy and purpose. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that if we just try harder, push a little more, wait a little longer, the door will eventually open. But sometimes persistence isn't the answer. Sometimes the best thing we can do is to let go, to accept that certain things are not meant to be, and to trust that there's something better on the other side. Letting go doesn't mean giving up on yourself or your dreams. It means acknowledging that some dreams were only meant to be stepping stones to something greater. It means understanding that each closed door is an opportunity to grow, to expand, and to align more closely with your true path. Closed doors are often detours to something amazing, something you couldn't see when you were so focused on that one thing. They remind you that life is not always linear, that success and happiness don't always come in the form we expect. When one door closes, others open doors to new possibilities, new experiences, and new relationships that you couldn't have imagined before. Sometimes the very thing you thought you wanted was actually holding you back, and the closed door is your chance to break free and explore a new direction. When you start to see closed doors as blessings, you begin to move through life with a different kind of confidence. You stop fearing rejection, you stop worrying about missed opportunities, and you start trusting that life will take you exactly where you need to be. You start to recognize that every no, every setback, every closed door is a redirection to something better. It's life's way of telling you that you're destined for more, that there's something greater waiting for you if you're willing to keep going, keep searching, and keep believing. The path to your true purpose, to your true happiness may be filled with closed doors, but each one is leading you where you're meant to be, or you're meant to be. Some people come into our lives to teach us that we deserve better. Often we meet people who don't value us the way we deserve, who take our kindness for granted, or who only stick around when it's convenient for them. At first, it's painful to realize that someone you care about doesn't value you the same way you value them. It hurts to see that despite giving them your time, love, and energy, they're unwilling to do the same. But these experiences, as painful as they are, often laughable lessons. They teach us that we are worthy of more than half-hearted love, lukewarm friendships, or relationships that are one-sided. In life, every person we meet has a role to play. Some people bring us joy, love, and companionship, while others bring lessons we'd rather not learn but need to. It's easy to feel bitter or frustrated when someone lets us down or treats us poorly. We can find ourselves asking, why did I waste my time with them? Why did I let them get close if they didn't really care? But every person who enters our life is part of our journey, shaping us, refining us, and helping us grow. Those who fall short of the respect and appreciation we deserve are there to open our eyes to what we truly need and what we should never settle for. When you give someone your best, your loyalty, your support, your time, and they don't reciprocate, it's a painful lesson. But it's also an opportunity to look inward and realize that you are worth so much more. Sometimes we stay in relationships or friendships hoping that the other person will eventually see our value, that they'll change, that they'll finally give back what we've been giving all along. We invest so much in the hope that things will get better. But often these people are there to teach us that waiting for them to change is a waste of our potential, a waste of our time, and a compromise on our own happiness. These experiences force us to reevaluate our standards. They push us to recognize that we deserve relationships where respect, love, and kindness are reciprocated. They teach us that we don't have to beg for someone's time or attention. If someone can't see our worth, if they don't make us a priority, then it's not because we're lacking, it's because they're not capable of giving us the love and respect we deserve. And once we realize that, we can start setting higher standards, focusing our energy on those who will appreciate us for who we are. Meeting people who treat us poorly can also be a mirror, showing us where we need to set boundaries and honor our own worth. Sometimes people take advantage of us because we don't set limits, because we're afraid of saying no, or because we want so badly to be liked. These relationships remind us that we need to put ourselves first, that we need to protect our peace, and that we have every right to walk away from anyone who doesn't respect us. Learning to say no, to stand up for ourselves, to demand better isn't easy, but it's essential for living a life that honors our value. The people who don't value us also help us appreciate those who do. When you've experienced neglect, disrespect, or indifference, you become acutely aware of the beauty of a true, healthy connection. You come to recognize the value of someone who genuinely cares, who makes time for you, who respects your boundaries, and who shows up for you. You start to see that the kind of love and friendship you deserve is one that doesn't leave you feeling drained, used, or unimportant. It's a connection that fills you up, that adds joy to your life, that makes you feel seen and valued. It's easy to feel bitter or cynical after being hurt by people who didn't value you. You might want to shut yourself off, to guard your heart, to stop letting people in. But those experiences don't have to harden you. Instead, they can be stepping stones, reminders of your resilience, and lessons on how to love yourself more. They can inspire you to treat yourself with the kindness and respect that others couldn't give, to pour into yourself what others failed to. You realize that the love you've been giving to others is the love you also need to give to yourself. People who don't value us often reveal how strong we really are. They test our limits, push our boundaries, and sometimes leave us feeling broken. But in the process, we find our strength. We find the courage to let go of what isn't serving us, to walk away from what doesn't bring us joy, and to stand firm in who we are. Each time someone falls short of appreciating us, we get a little stronger, a little wiser, and a little clearer about what we want and deserve. We learn that we're capable of healing, that we can rise above the hurt, and that we can keep moving forward. Ultimately, the people who don't value us are teachers in disguise. They teach us the importance of self-love, of setting boundaries, of demanding respect. They show us that not everyone deserves access to our heart, and that it's okay to be selective about who we let in. They remind us that we have the right to prioritize our happiness, to choose relationships that uplift us, and to leave behind anything that makes us feel less than we are. These lessons might come with pain, but they leave us stronger, wiser, and more in tune with our true worth. Forgiving someone doesn't mean you have to welcome them back into your life. Forgiveness is a powerful tool for healing, but it's important to understand that forgiving someone is not the same as granting them access to you again. When someone has hurt you deeply, it's natural to feel a mix of emotions, anger, sadness, and even a desire for revenge. But holding on to those feelings can create a prison around your heart, keeping you trapped in the past. Forgiveness then is less about the other person and more about freeing yourself. It's about releasing the hold that pain has over you so that you can move forward with peace. However, forgiving doesn't mean forgetting the lessons you learned or allowing that person to re-enter your life in the same way. Forgiving someone is often misunderstood as condoning what they did, or as if you're saying it was okay. But that's not true. Forgiveness is a choice you make for your own well-being. It's you deciding to let go of the resentment, the bitterness, and the burden of carrying around that hurt. When you hold on to anger and resentment, it doesn't harm the other person, it harms you. It eats away at your happiness, your peace, and your ability to trust others. But when you forgive, you free yourself from the weight of that pain. You're saying, I'm no longer going to let this control me. I'm choosing to move forward to be free. Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself. However, setting boundaries after forgiveness is essential. Just because you've forgiven someone doesn't mean they get to have the same place in your life that they once did. Forgiveness and boundaries can coexist. In fact, they should coexist. When someone has shown you who they are, when they've hurt you, raid your trust, it's a lesson about how they operate. Maybe they weren't honest. Maybe they took advantage of your kindness, or maybe they didn't value you the way you deserve to be valued. Forgiving them doesn't erase those facts. It simply means you're choosing not to carry the anger. But choosing not to carry the anger doesn't mean inviting them back in to hurt you again. Boundaries are a way to protect yourself, to maintain the peace and clarity you've worked hard to achieve. When you forgive someone and decide to let go of the pain, it doesn't mean you have to let go of your standards or the boundaries you need to feel safe and respected. You're allowed to forgive someone and still decide that their presence in your life isn't healthy. Forgiveness is about releasing, not returning. You can release the hold their actions had over you without feeling any obligation to allow them back in. Forgiveness is also a way to reclaim your power. When someone hurts you, it can feel as if they've taken something from you, your trust, your happiness, maybe even a part of who you are. But when you choose to forgive, you're taking that power back. You're saying that their actions no longer define how you feel or how you live your life. You're refusing to let what they did control your emotions, your decisions, and your peace. But taking back your power doesn't mean letting them back in to do it all over again. It means valuing yourself enough to know that you deserve better, that your time, energy, and heart are too precious to be mistreated or undervalued. Forgiveness without boundaries can lead to a cycle of pain. If you forgive someone but allow them back into your life without any change, it opens the door for the same hurt to happen again. True forgiveness, the kind that allows you to move forward, often requires distance and a recognition that some people are not meant to stay. There's strength in understanding that while you can wish someone well, you don't have to include them in your life. Sometimes the best way to honor your journey and your growth is to keep certain people at a distance. Forgiveness is not a green light to ignore what happened. It's a chance to learn from it. Choosing not to bring someone back into your life after forgiving them doesn't make you unkind or unforgiving. It makes you wise. It shows that you value yourself enough to keep your pict, that you understand your worth, and that you're unwilling to settle for less than you deserve. Forgiving is about finding peace within yourself, not giving someone permission to repeat the same mistakes. It's about moving on without holding on to the bitterness or the grudge, but also without compromising your happiness and well-being. You have the right to forgive someone and still decide that their role in your life has ended. Forgiveness is a release of the emotional burden they caused, but boundaries are the protection against future hurt. Some people may not understand this. They may expect that forgiveness means a clean slate or a return to how things once were. But that's not true. Forgiveness is a step in your healing journey, and sometimes that journey requires that certain people are no longer part of your life. It's okay to say, I forgive you, but I also choose to protect myself. Forgiving without allowing someone back into your life is a powerful act of self-respect. It's a statement that you have learned from the experience, that you value your peace, and that you're willing to let go without giving someone the chance to hurt you again. You're free from the anger, but you're also free to choose who deserves your time and trust. It's a reminder that you can let go of pain without letting go of your self-worth. That you can be kind to yourself by not inviting negativity back into your world.